Hello and welcome to the Sunday Dev Hangout. Thanks for dropping in. All the regulars are around, I see, and a few new faces. If you are new to the stream, then don't forget to follow the channel. It should just be below the window. Alternatively, you can follow us on Twitter, which is @GamesFoundry. You can check out all the videos at youtube.com/GamesFoundry, or indeed you can visit gamesfoundry.com on the web. As usual, we'll be giving away a Steam key for Folktale to one lucky winner later in the show, so just keep tuned for that. I also want to give a shout out to Daddio66, who is hanging around in the channel. He started streaming Folktale this week. He has got the most awesome beard, which is worth the visit alone. So be sure to pop along to twitch.tv/Daddio66. He streams Folktale and a couple of other games that you may be interested in, including Life is Feudal and Landmark. So check along, it's a very laid back stream. And in today's stream, we're going to be looking at yesterday's patch, which is patch 0.2.10. We'll be spending some time on some of the, I suppose, not immediately obvious parts of the patch, and also looking at something that I haven't documented because it's sort of slipped in by mistake, which is the Colliders kits, which have been asked for quite a while now. So anyway, let's dive in to 0.2.10 and see what we've got going on. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the patch. So it's obviously 0.2.10 added the two swamp kits, the swamp environment kit for the terrain and trees and everything like that, and then also the swamp ruins kit, so you can make, you know, your pyramids and dungeons and things like that. Okay. So, the first thing I wanted to go into is the console. So if you are a tester and you want to test your own maps, then the console, which you pull up with Control Shift and X, excuse me, on Mac it's slightly different, I think it's Command Shift and X. It's in the patch notes anyway for Mac users. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself one of every inventory item so we can take a look at those. So I'm just going to type in one of everything and hit enter. And then that's going to add one of everything that's in the game. Excuse me. It is a debug tool, so there will be some white icons and things that get added. Just ignore those for now. And then you actually have to press escape to hide the console. One of the big changes in this patch is that, well, it's not a big change, obviously it's only a keyboard shortcut. So I to open the global inventory, and if you've got a character selected, C to open the character sheet. Now, there is an engine issue at the moment that you need to be aware of, that if the mouse pointer is over one of the UI, so the character sheet or the global inventory, it won't register keyboard shortcuts. So as I said, it's an engine issue. Hopefully they'll address it in a future patch. But for now, you can either just use the close buttons, or you can actually just move the mouse pointer off the UI and then press the key that way. Okay. So one of the big changes is that gear now does something. I can use the filters to pull up armor, and these are just peasants, so let's just give them some cloth armor. And you can see that with each piece of armor that I'm adding, their armor rating is actually going up. And the more armor that you have on, the more damage reduction that you get against monsters. So this is, if I just hover over, this is common cloth armor. So it's really not that effective. I can equip it. As I mentioned in last stream, again, another engine issue. It has been fixed in a future patch, but that patch is buggy, so we can't upgrade to it just yet, but right click will be supported. So rather than having to, alright, what's happened to my screen? Has my mouse run out of batteries? Just bear with me. Brilliant. That's what you get for using a wireless mouse. All right. What was I talking about? I've forgotten what I was talking about now, apart from armor. Anyway, so oh yes, right click. That's it. So you'll be able to right click rather than me dragging and dropping like this all the time. Just right click, and it will swap gear between the two characters. So I'm going to try and keep up with chat in today's stream. Oh right, yeah. Thanks for the reminder. So just need to turn the audio volume down. MBNCD, you awake? Wakey wakey. I know it's like, I don't know, what, 2 AM, 1 AM for you? Thanks for joining us, by the way. I know it's late in Australia. Okay. And then we've got different tiers. So if you visit the website and have a look on the game guide, under the items, the armor is, well, all items actually are graded by tiers. So you've got common, uncommon, rare, and epic as the different sort of tiers of gear. And they will progressively give you more damage reduction. And all of those stats are now live on the website. So you can go on there and check it out. So here we've got the uncommon cloth armor, which this is the belt, and that should give us slightly more armor. So as I keep on replacing those parts, you'll see. And then so in terms of the armor types that we're going to be supporting, there'll be cloth, leather, chainmail, scale for the cavalry, and plate for your city watch. The Q-chan, thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Naki Rogue's asking, can you increase the amount of any one item? You can individually as a player, but there's no way of sort of publishing with that with your map at the moment. So all of the data we've moved into config files, which are text files that have got the extension .json, JSON. And the reason why we're doing that is with a long-term view to supporting modders as best we can, and also to allow customization. So that's going to be a fairly long process to get to that stage. Just make you aware that we are doing or taking steps to support that level of customization and modding that no doubt some level designers are going to really appreciate that. Okay, so we've got the leather armor, different tiers of leather armor from the common to that's the rare one, I think, and then we've got the uncommon one. Chainmail's up the top because it's sorted alphabetically in the moment. We've got 2 levels of chainmail in the moment, and I believe the rare set of chainmail is being finished this week, so that should be included in patch 0.2.11. But we'll be publishing that on the website soon. Doverkin45 is asking, have you thought about any naval combat for this style of game? We have. The budget doesn't cover it at the moment, so it's out of scope, but I agree it would certainly be cool to add in there, so let's see. Okay. It looks like some guys are still having problems with buffering. Actually, the London data center, which we feed into, has been upgraded apparently by 50 and 100% or something, but I guess over time Twitch are going to improve their network. So hopefully people won't get too many buffering issues. Anywho's, in terms of who wears what, so your casters will wear cloth, like the arbalist will wear leather, and eventually when you get ready to craft it, they can wear chainmail as well. And then the cavalry that is in production at the moment as well. So fingers crossed we may be able to get that in for the next patch. It might be a push, that, because we've got a lot that we're working on at the moment. But needless to say, that will be coming real soon. I think that'd be great to have a mounted unit in there. So the cavalry will wear the scale, and then the City Watch will wear the plate, and then we'll have different heroes as well that will obviously wear that sort of gear as well. Goose McDucks is asking, will we be allowed to edit what the player has in the global inventory at the start. It's probably a good thing to be able to do that. If you want to post that in the forum, then we can. I'll make sure I'll capture it. It's not particularly easy for me to capture things during the stream, but if you pop it in the forum as a suggestion, and then I can make sure that works it into our internal for consideration list. Iclithid, thanks for the feedback on the game. Hopefully it's starting to take shape now and people can start to understand the vision of where we're going to go with it. Okay. Alright. Now, one thing I did want to show you as well is on the weapons. So, each character, if you look on their character portrait, they've got 5 slots which are for special abilities. There are also a number of other icons that aren't fully enabled at the moment. However, in patch 0.2.10, the one that went out yesterday, we have enabled Auto AI. And I'm just going to build a Hunter's Lodge. Hunting Lodge. Let's pop it up there. Because when we added the Hunter, which is was the first sort of ranged unit, Hunters, being an economy unit, always want to do their work, and there was no way to stop them returning to work. So, you know, you'd go out adventuring with a bunch of Hunters, and then they just, you know, bugger off and return to the work, which is not what you wanted. So we have enabled Auto AI. Now, the scope of Auto AI is going to be a little bit broader than what's in at the moment. So if I just train up a Hunter, you see he'll go off, or he or she, Victor. Right, presumably that is a male? I don't know. Let's have a look. I don't know. That kind of looks like a female to me. Victor the lady. I guess we haven't hooked up male names to male characters yet, and females to male. Anywho's, Victor, our female hunter, is off hunting. Now, if I don't want them to hunt, I can turn off Auto AI. And turning off Auto AI will place that unit entirely under your control. So now I can send them off exploring the map without them overriding my command and then returning to work. Which means you can get a bunch of them. In fact, let's do that now. Let's have a look at what we will do, just as backup, and not before time, since
something to do.
Victor is about to single-handedly take down a swamp beast unless we intervene.
Yes, Petal.
Victor, stop it. So we'll just train some peasants, so we get a flow of peasants going, and then we'll train several up as hunters and take them out. Boofles is asking, do we have any jobs and how many people are there on the dev team at the moment? There are 9 people on the team at the moment. No, we don't have any job occupancies.
What now?
When we do hire, I tend to go out and headhunt.
New villagers have arrived.
Well, not so much headhunt, but I tend to go to like Polycount and places like that to advertise for jobs. Right. Let's train these guys up. Another change is that we've added the building name to the health bar, so now when you hover over there, it actually says what the building is, which really simple change, but obviously it makes it a lot easier, and it now correctly shows tier 1 instead of 0. Daddy-O's got a question, which is, will terrain kits always be free, or will they eventually be sold as a way to support the game? No. All the kits will be included with the core of the game. Now, we've got, at the moment, we've got all our focus is on developing the game that's going to ship. Should we consider any DLC? That decision is something we're going to review once we know how well the game has done. We're not going to be holding any content back, doing anything like that. It's all going to be in the game. The only thing I will say is that we'll be launching the official soundtrack at the same time that we release patch 0.3. The reason that is separate is that it's much higher quality than the audio that is included with the game. And that will be a piece of DLC, but you'll need to own the game to be able to buy that. Just to avoid confusion, so that people don't think that they're buying the game when they're buying the DLC, buying the official soundtrack. Right, okay. Our hunters have.
What now?
Ooh, okay. Let's turn your brain off. Send you back. Not before time. And where's the other one gone? We need the civics menu. So this, in terms of finding idle peasants and things like that, that's the intention of the civics menu, but it's not implemented at the moment. So, but that was a piece of feedback that we received.
All right, my love.
Just make sure that swamp beast isn't around. There's a piece of feedback that we obviously received from when we launched, and we have designed. If you check out devblog 21, I think it is, quite a while ago. There is a civics menu design, civics dialogue design for that. But the soundtrack at the moment is 46 tracks, 2.5 hours long, I think. And obviously the music hasn't been done for the cinematics yet or anything like that, which will update the official soundtrack as that becomes available. Alright, so, oh, that's it, right,
Yes,
they're taking them on. I think actually, because of a... Oh, they do, okay. Yay.
How can I
Okay.
help?
These are a little bit squishy at the moment, so because they haven't got any armour. Let me just keep up with chat. The answer to McCaw's 45 is yes, I am, but I'm not going to read that out.
Something to do?
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 100, how much has the game changed since the first release on Steam? On a scale of 1 to 100. Well, I think that's probably not the right question. The question is how much progress have we made? So on the Steam page, on the Steam store page, sorry, we provide some development stats. So when have the patch has been, so that people can see that we're committed to a regular patch schedule, and also what the percentage of progress is. So we are, I think, currently at 51%. It's a massive project. We've got a limited team size. Obviously, for the quality that we're trying to achieve, it is going to take quite a while. But hopefully we're starting to put things into players' hands now that the amount of enjoyment that you can get from the game is increasing with every patch. Okay, that was another reason for making the official soundtrack a separate release.
Yes,
is the size, because I think each file is, I can't remember, 40 to 80 megabytes or something like that. All right, I'm not doing a fat lot. I'm here on the screen. All right, so let's. We've got our
All right, my
archers. Let's crack on and build up our settlement. Let me have a look at the patch notes, see what else we've got in there. So the console is documented on the website. On the left-hand side, there's a nav for the console guide. That'll take you through what the commands are. There is a rudimentary load save included. It's not being fully tested at the moment, so we're not ready to actually integrate it into the game in terms of the full UI. But it may save enough of your game that you're able to continue.
New villagers have arrived.
But obviously we're working on that, and it will come most likely within the 0.2.x release schedule. Or saying, should the swamp beast be a little bigger? Possibly. Yeah, stuff like that we'll tweak.
Your villagers have arrived.
I need to get some food going. We'll tweak things like that as we go. One of the things I did since last week, although it doesn't seem that evident here.
New villagers have arrived.
Let's plonk the smelt down. Blacksmiths. So one of the problems is with playtesting, I realised that there wasn't enough space to construct a blacksmith around the iron mine. So I've changed that now and got rid of some of the floating water, the little pools of water. So now it's much easier to find somewhere to build. So we'll crack on there. They're building the smelt. I'll train a blacksmith. We've got our fields up and running, so let's get a couple of farmers on the go.
How can I help?
Building completed.
Alright, blacksmith should be up and running. It's called smelt at the moment. We need to rename that. We've updated the. You'll have noticed that we updated the iron mine and the quarry so that the rock now matches the swamp kit. So they're in the swamp kit itself. So you have to use the grasslands one. You can use ones that match the swamp kit. All right, so he's mining. What's going on there? What's that? Uh-oh. Because I was too busy chatting, we're now in trouble. I better quick... Oh, am I going to be able to build some wall? I think we'll have to build it quickly, sort of cheat. Get some tier 1 turrets up with some repeating crossbows.
Oh, my beautiful.
The problem is that there's a lot of them coming. So what I really need to do is quickly build a barracks.
We don't have enough stone to do that.
Oh, I'm going to cheat at this point. I'm going to catch up a little bit since I've been chatting so much.
That didn't go so well. Oh! Ah! Oh God, it hurts so bad.
I've set that on a repeat spawner, so the goblins will keep on coming at you. Just be aware of that. So you do want to crack on and get building some barracks and some defences.
Building completed.
Just check the settings. Don't think that's really going to... Okay, right. So what I want...
What now?
Yes,
Ta-ta.
All right, my
I
love.
want 2 crossbowmen. So that's... not crossbowmen, arbalists, aren't they? And 2 CT watch.
Yes, my dear.
And then let's kit them out.
How
Now,
can I
because we've implemented damage reduction now, armor isn't
help? Something
as
to do?
totally effective as it used to be. So it's important that we do give them a good amount of gear. So I'll press C and I on my keyboard, and this is level 1 city watch. This is Bernard. Bernard's probably a female. So we'll give them plate. So I'll give Bernard the regular plate, and his armor stats will be increasing as I add all of this. You can press tab if you've got multiple units selected. Alright, obviously didn't have multiple units selected, so let's just pretend we did. And now tab cycles through each of your characters, so it saves you deselecting and reselecting. As I say, right click will be enabled in a future patch for that to make that quicker. And then the arbalist, we will give the chainmail. Press tab again to go to the next one. Get them fully kitted up. Okay. And then let's cheat a little bit. And what I'm going to do, it won't be supported in the final game, but
All right, my love.
I'm going to equip these guys with a couple of pieces of gear, which is why I was talking about this special abilities wheel. Now the weapons that I want are they're the monk's staffs, which if you check out the patch notes, it's detailed in there, and they've all got different abilities. In fact, if I just bear with me. Okay. So the Amber Staff has got a mass heal spell, so let's take a look at that. That's the Amber Staff there. Now they can actually fight with these and hold them, is the way they're set up, but as I say, in the final game they won't. Now, there are no icons at the moment, but the mass heal spell will heal units that are in range. Okay. So, at the moment it's attached to inventory items, but it will actually be hero abilities, like Cleric will have all your sort of like remove curses and cure disease and mass heal and resurrect and stuff like that. Like a knight unit will have all the taunts and sort of leadership roles. Excuse me, I'll have a drink. So that's the heal spell. In terms of how it looks at the moment, that was just temporary stuff that's put in there. There's obviously no sound effects, so it's really just the basis of the system. We were implementing it so that we could implement stats for things like armor, and so that the whole of that will continue to grow over time. All right, the next one is the Emerald Staff, which has got a heal over time on it. So let's equip that. Where are we? I'm going blind. Where's the staff? It's gone. Only one. Oh no, there it is. Okay, Emerald Staff. Right, because this is a heal over time and it's a passive aura. So anybody, I think I covered this before, but anybody in range will automatically get healed by that. So these guys are going to be soon invincible. Another one that we've done is the Cursed Staff. That's the Staff of the Dead, sorry. The Staff of the Dead's got loads of things on it. It's got... the first one is Firestorm. Now this is going to be an example of a targeted spell. So you'll enable the spell that you want to cast, in this case it's Firestorm. The cursor will change slightly to go into targeting, although we haven't created it at the moment, and then you literally click for where you want the spell to be cast. And they're fleeing because they're getting hurt and they've got nothing to retaliate against. Okay, so that was Flee.
Ready to serve.
Oh, sorry, not Flee, that was Firestorm. Which one is it? Who's got it?
Something to do?
Move along.
That's interesting.
Yes, Petal.
Ah, right, here we go, it's the Arbalest. So that was Firestorm. We've got Lifesteal, which I don't think I can show you in at the moment because it's only against enemies. Lifesteal will steal health from enemies that are around you and transfer it to you. So actually, I mean, let's go and grab this guy. I think there's a load of wolves. Let's put a door in here. Is there something coming, or is that... Looks like the goblins are coming again, so... I'll grab these guys. Let's just run in here. And go for Lifesteal. And that will actually start stealing from anybody caught around them. As I say, this is really just a prototype system to show how things will be implemented. But what I was doing there is I was stealing the life from everybody that was around me and then transferring it to myself. And because special abilities will be able to... I'll tell you what we'll do. You'll be able to level them up, so as you level, in fact, let's see if this guy's leveled up yet. No, it's still a level 1 Arbalest. We have put the start of character leveling up in there. So they do earn XP at the moment. And once they reach a certain level, then they level up and they will get points. Oh, it looks like... I don't know why he's got 2 points. But you're able to actually spend those... You're able to spend those. And you see, because I closed down the dialogue, that's actually then assigned those points. Now, at the moment, the attributes aren't linked to anything, so I won't do any more damage, or I won't dodge more, or anything like that. But they will most likely in the next patch. That just happens to be where we got up to with the implementation in 0.2.10. Okay, let's move him out of the way. Let's just go down and actually have a look at him with his... And it's the wrong way round, you know, at the moment, so the staffs need rotating 180 degrees, but it's just one of those things in development. Okay, and then the final one, which, let's see if there's anybody alive, is Electrocute. And that will... I don't know if it will work so much on the walls, probably better shown on the... Actually, I don't know, I think it electrocuted him more than it electrocuted the wolf. So yeah. We'll have a good range of RPG skills in there. Not just from in terms of magic, we'll have things like pick locking, you know, so everything that you would expect from an RPG we're going to try and put in there. It is very early stages at the moment, and it's being developed as part of the inventory system. So bear with us, and that will continue to get better. It's a little bit of fun. Okay, do excuse me while I catch up with chat. Goose McDuck is saying we should use like a ray particle beam for lifesteal. And transfer to allies through green beam. Interesting idea. We've not, as I say, we've not got to implementing special abilities yet. B Grubs is asking, is Stench Cam still in? Yeah, we've moved it from the C key to the T key, T for terrain. And you're still able to do that. In fact, let's do that, and let's go up and have a look at the inside of the temple, because we did some work on that to put in colliders and things like that, so that I wouldn't fall through the floor. And we also put in the final pieces this week, like ceilings and things like that, so that's now all closed off. As I say, it's not really something that we're aiming to do with the game, because there'll be a whole dungeon kit, so you'll go in through... The entrance will be a portal, which will then take you to a separate dungeon level representing the interior of a building or a temple or whatever. This was just a little bit of fun, you know, give the level designers something to play with, see what they come up with. You know, if it works as a mechanism, it might be something that we choose to implement. So let's just drop down into the stench cam, as we called it, because you can get up close to your stinking peasants. Go on, all the way up to the top. Come on. Alright, so we've put in colliders now, so we can actually... I can't go through walls. We got ceiling in there. If I actually go down, I can get my guys to follow down. I think I showed you this last week, but it wasn't quite as nice. Got a little chest in the corner, send somebody to open that. I have no idea what guys are going to come up with. I mean, I had an interesting idea, but I didn't implement it for this map, which was, I thought it'd be really cool if we had two of these temples, pyramid temples, and if by coming into the heart of one of them, and then I could actually lay an underground tunnel underneath like the terrain tiles, and then come out through the bottom of the other one and up to the top and emerge out the top one. I thought that'd be a cool little idea. So anywho's, let's see what you can come up with from that. I thought it was a little bit of fun. Didn't take very long to do. We've put in the pieces to finish it off. So I look forward to seeing what the community comes up with. I'm sure they'll be posting some maps in the coming weeks on the forum. Okay, just let me scroll back on chat and see where we're at. Gizmos Douglas is asking, stun from some attacks on enemy-friendly units. Yes, stun will be supported. We do do the animations for most of the monsters and the humans, so that will be something that we'll be adding in time. Dokin is asking, will you be able to play as one of the characters? Sort of put you in the character's shoes. Ah, right, okay. So we generally refer to that as possession, and the answer is no. It's not planned at the moment. The reason being is I think if we go that route so that you can take over characters, then I think some players are going to be, their expectations will change to expecting more of a pure RPG experience. Now, we can't possibly deliver the entire complexity of like one of the latest RPG games. You know, they specialize in that 100%. What Folktale is, it's a blend of city building and RPG that plays like an RTS. So we're taking the best bits from those genres, but I think we have to be careful just how far we go in either direction. What we need to focus on is blending those two together and making sure that they play off each other to provide a convincing play experience. So no, we won't be putting in, or it's unlikely that we'll be putting in possession at this stage, but it would be cool. I admit it would be cool, and if it's cool, you know, it's never a firm no. It's like a soft maybe at best. Okay. Streamerbert's asking, how will villagers and monsters interact with water? Movement, boats, drowning, fighting. So at the moment, water is more of an obstacle. So if it's a river and there's no bridge over it, it acts as a hard... I'll just bring the guys down here. It acts as a hard boundary, so you can't pass over it. And the reason why we're going to keep it like that is from a strategic point of view, in that it's a way for level designers to control the flow of gameplay and to put natural blocks in, and also to lead players through somewhat of a controlled experience, while they're still free to go wherever they want. At least in certain areas, you know, that the level designer can at least anticipate what's going to happen, and they'll be able to set up triggered events to do with that. So don't expect to see them swimming underwater and boats and things like that, although we discussed earlier about the naval stuff, which, as I say, it's another thing that would be cool to see about that later. Okay, sorry. Let me catch up with the chats. MBN CD is saying, when people have, when they've made big towns, or if they're making towns in busy crowded areas like this, it may be hard to identify at a glance where the building you're trying to place may fit. Is there any chance you could, for instance, hold down a key to see a green highlight wherever it could fit on the ground where the camera is currently being? I mean, most things are possible. I don't know what the performance issues would be in relation to that. I think that's one of those things that I'd recommend just posting suggestions for them. We, as a dev team, I think we need to have a think about that and see if there is anything we can do to improve it. Okay, so Thugar's made a suggestion about multiple pressure plates in that bottom room would be nice if it would open a chamber. So I'll just sort of zoom back there. I think that's more of a suggestion for the dungeon kit. We will be putting triggered events in there. So the on about down in this room here. So because it's got nowhere else to go, you could have some little pressure plates on the floor, and then in fact, did I put some raised little props up here? Let me go and have a look. I did, yeah, there's a couple here. So for example, we'd walk on that and, you know, maybe something would open up. So we will be putting in triggers and a lot more interactivity with the world. Yeah, or portals to another map. The streamer, there is no unit collision at the moment. We may add some local avoidance, what's called local avoidance, which if I just quickly zoom down here, so at the moment it is possible, well, it is possible for them to stand on top of each other. What local avoidance does is it just prevents them from doing that. We may not implement full local avoidance, but we may do it so that in most cases they will space out properly and try and avoid each other. So that is something that's like going to be a nice to have later on in development. Oh, so many questions. Oh, right. There's, where is it? I'm sorry, the sun's coming. We've got a roof window and the sun's coming directly in from that. I'll try and lean back. It's flicker on my... We don't have a swimming pool. Not 3 stories up, anyway. Okay. Daddy066, thanks for hosting us on your stream. Just a quick shout out again to everybody. Daddy066 has started streaming folktales part of his stream, so pop along to twitch.tv/Daddy066. If there are any other streamers out there that are starting to look to stream folktale, then let us know. We'll try and come along to your stream. There are also some opportunities that we can maybe join in with that through TeamSpeak or something like that, and we'll probably be looking to do that increasingly in the future. Okay, formations. Yeah, I think there's been some discussion about that as well. Right, let me go back to the patch notes. Okay, so we also added in Tier 1 damage visuals. Well, that's not really going to matter at the moment because the goblins aren't building their trebuchet. But I'm just holding down the U key to simulate damage. And you'll see that they do become increasingly damaged over time. I mean, that sunlight again, aren't I? Where are we? I think we better just build one more piece of wall. Have we got any peasants left? Should do somewhere, or they all died. Oh no, there's one. I think we'll just build an extra house. Get some more peasants. And a stone cutter. Where are we? Stone cutter. Stone cutter's large, and we'll have a fisherman's hut as well. You may notice as well that in this patch, in the swamp in particular, if you place a building down, it will clear the area of bushes and things like that. I'm not sure it does it for grassland bushes at the moment, but it will in time be rolled out to do that. So it cleans up the map a little bit. And all that means is that at the start of the game, we'll be able to have more vegetation showing for a more interesting looking world. Obviously, when you've built something, the building rises up and it covers anything that was underneath, so there's no point in it being shown at all, so we clear it. And that will also help with performance a little bit. Yeah, in terms of triggers and things, we're also looking at traps. So you had like the gas vent traps as well in the tutorial, and the spike traps and things like that. So they will all be in as well. One thing that did ship by accident in 0.2.10 is the very early start of the snow kit. That was a mistake. Please don't use those kit pieces in your maps, because that kit is going to be subject to extensive change in the next month or two. It is what we're working on next in terms of the art team that are working on the environment stuff, and that's been brought forward from patch the release cycle, which is 0.7.x, I think. These things take about 1 to 2 months to get to a basic state, like the swamp kit here. I think this has been worked on for, in total, I think it was 3 to 4 weeks. There's more work that we want to do, but it's important that we get these things out there and get some feedback. As usual, if there are any kit pieces that you want, please let us know in the forum, and then we can look to include those. We've included quite a lot of extra pieces in the Grasslands kit already. We'll look to do this the same. Okay, so I've built these things. I probably need to train some folk now, don't I? Where have they gone?
All right, my love. Yes, my dear?
Is that all there is? One? Doesn't seem like many. Oh, crikey, that's why we need to build more cottages. We've only got 10 population. I think we need to go on a bit of a mass building exercise. So you see that there's a bush here, and then if I click, it removes the bush. That's what I was talking about earlier. Dadeo66 is asking, will the NPCs be able to build bridges like they can build structures? Somebody else has also suggested that. It's definitely something we're going to consider, because I think it would be quite nice. That and road building. So road building is in at the moment, but it's not integrated into the UI. So if I just show you how we'd actually build one. Daddy86, I think I talked you through this when you're on your stream, but if you hold down let me think. Hang on, let me think, because that was
Building completed.
moved, wasn't it? Because I is now global inventory.
Building
So whoops.
completed.
Was it J? No. L? No. P?
New villages.
Ah, right.
have
Okay, it's
arrived.
P. I should probably document that if I haven't already. Maybe I did. Let me just check that. Oh, I've documented it. It's in the patch notes. That's all right. Good. So holding down the P key. There are 4 possible stages, although it can be simplified to 2. So the simplest way to draw a path is just click and let go of the left mouse button while holding down the P key, and then clicking again to place it, and that places it. Now, with that, you're only going to get a straight path. So holding down... let me see. I thought it was the K key. Has that
New
changed?
villagers have arrived.
Maybe that's changed as well. Okay. Anyway, so the next thing to do is you can actually, when you do your first click, if you click and hold the mouse button, you can actually drag the starting angle that the path will come out at, and then if I draw the final piece, you can get some quite strong curves. Okay, so it's so here, for example, if I wanted to build a path over here, rather than... Oops. Just hold down P. Rather than clicking and letting go, that won't really look very good, you see, and it produces some very sharp sort of lines. So I'll just press escape. What I actually want to do is, on the curve, I want to specify it to continue on. So I'm going to hold down P. Sorry, I didn't do it then, did I? P, and I'm going to drag to say where the path should actually come out of, and then I can define where it goes. So you can get some pretty nice looking paths that way. Okay. I think if that conversation relates to the bridges, it may be that bridges are a little bit too complicated. I don't know. Oh, we'll cover that later. Okay. So, where were we? I was training a load
How
of
can I
peasants,
help?
wasn't I? Okay, right.
Something to do?
Let's get some fishermen going, and let's get a couple of guys
Yes, Petal.
quarrying some stone for us. I don't think I even set... Oh, I did set one. Let's have another. There they are, mining away. Daniel the Shifty. Although it looks distinctly like a female. Aaron, yeah, I was just saying earlier that I think we need to hook up the male names to the male characters, because at the moment we've got female villagers called Victor and things like that. It's just a small thing that will make a big difference. All right, back to the patch notes. Fishing economy chain is finished now, so oh, you can see they should be munching. If I just go down, there he is munching on a salmon steak. So the fishermen catch the fish and take them back to the fisherman's hut, and then they are available for sale. If I build a bakery, you also see that now we're showing the resources required for each building in a little tooltip. In terms of bakery, let's plonk that down there. Now we've built a bakery, we'll be able to start selling bread. And all of this wheat that's being grown, I'll just dump down. Excuse me, dump down storehouse. Right, so while that's going on, let's have a look what else is on there.
Completed.
There's the looting. I'll tell you what, let's go and do a little bit of exploration. So let's get our group and let's go into the kobold camp that's over here. One thing that was evident, actually, I was watching Daddy066's stream, and he started exploring. I think he was playing the human village map, and he started exploring, and we hadn't put many monsters in close to the village, so as you're exploring, you can sort of walk around in a concentric circle and not discover anything. So we should definitely, I'll definitely look to add more monsters.
Nothing to see here.
I'll look to add more monsters so that there's more engagement. I've put more repeat spawners in here as well, so you can get more battles going now.
Are you?
Nice steel, isn't it? And then we've got a firestorm. Oh, crikey! Does it well, yeah. Where's that dude with the heal thing? We haven't got control groups in at the moment. We were like on the verge of putting them in, but we've just run out of time. So I definitely want to get those into the next patch, because with hotkeys, you see, at the moment,
Ready to obey.
I don't know which one of the guys has got the
Ready
heal.
to
In
serve.
fact, he might have actually died. Has he died? He may well have died. With hotkeys, I'd be able to quickly flick through those and be able to do a group heal. They've got the healing aura anyway, so they were able to pull back. Excuse me. The grass system was changed in this patch, so that it now tints the grass depending on what material is painted on the tile. So I'm pretty much I can sure leave these guys to it now. and come back. But if we go, first thing, let's just use the console to set it to daytime so that we can see this a little bit better. So you'll see that there are different colour tints on the grass. So on the left hand side we've got grass tinted a certain colour, and on the right that's all automatic. So and we'll be using that on all of the different biomes. So it'll look great. Just a minor change. Okay. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll jump into the editor and we'll look at the Colliders kit, because it was a feature that was requested a while back. So it includes both colliders and nav mesh cuts, and they're objects that won't necessarily appear in the world. So let's take a look at those. I'll just jump into. Let's go have a look at these guys with the gear. Starting to come together now. All right, so I'm going to jump out and load up this map into the editor. In terms of dragons, we asked the community for their favourite monsters, and dragons came out. It was a question of whether they were cliche or not. So if we do implement dragon, it'll probably be with a little twist on it. But they seem too popular to include. I guess it will be up to the level designer whether they include a dragon or not, because some people like really hate dragons and other people like really love them. I think it's a bit of a Marmite monster. You know, you either love it or you hate it. So I think we could, you know, they could put in the description of the map before they share it with the community saying, like, there's a dragon in this. So there are some questions. I'm just reading the... Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up on the questions. There have been quite a few asked. Law Blue saying, can you do a quick tutorial on how to start a map from scratch? I can't even figure out placing a stone floor. Yeah, I think I probably can do that. I do intend to do video tutorials for the website on things like that. And I kind of want to try and keep the streams a bit more focused on what we've been working on and like patch reviews and things like that. But I think, what time? We've got like an hour left, so I'm pretty sure we can start, go over the fundamentals, the basics, because it is a fairly steep but short learning curve, I would say, to get over how kit piece placement and rotation and things work. So I can do that now. But before I do, I want to look at the colliders and the nav mesh cuts in the colliders kit. Streamerbert's asking, will control groups be visible? We're still debating that. We did sort of do some work on whether they would be shown or not, and then we sort of thought they might not be relevant. So we'll see. Maybe the answer to whether they'll be control groups will be represented on the screen or not. The Steam key has not yet been given away. Balor's saying, this game looks like it has so many features, everything from city building to dungeon raiding. Are the game's features close to being finished, or are you just laying them down and finish them when you feel like you've had everything you want? Right. So we're adding to it until we get to a point when we think, okay, we've got everything that we want in there. I'd say there's still an awful lot that we want to put in. You know, we're progressing leaps and bounds with every patch. I think in terms of the thing that we're going to be waiting on probably is going to be art assets. So there will come a point where we've got all of the functionality in that we initially intended, and then we're going to start looking at what can be improved and what can we add on to. And then we'll keep going basically until everybody arrives at the point of the finished game. Mr. MJ is asking, how free will a user be to create, mod their own buildings, game systems? It's still something to be decided at the moment. There was a brief conversation happened about sporting Lua. More information is going to have to come later. We were obviously putting all the data structures in and saving those config files to disk so we can support future modding, but there's no information available as yet because we haven't fully scoped it. Right. Okay. Sorry about the little delay. Just before we start the new map, what I want to do is I just want to have a look at this Colliders kit and just explain what they're going to be used for. Most people, well, most beginners won't use them. This is more of an advanced feature for the community members that have already been creating maps. So let's just rotate around. And if I pull up the Colliders, hang on, where is it? Colliders. Okay. There are no icons for these at the moment, but there will be in a future patch. Okay, so we've got two types of objects in the Colliders kit. There are camera colliders and there are mesh cuts. Camera colliders literally will stop the game camera from going into the object. So I'm trying to walk into it now, and I can't get there. Okay. So if I was, I don't know, scaling up a tree or something, and I didn't want, well, not so much a tree, but I don't know, if I'd made a prop for a building, I'd made a custom building, which quite a few people have, and I wanted to prevent the camera actually going through the walls, then you'd be able to use these pieces. And there's an actual camera collider. Okay, so we've got three. We've got the box collider, and we've got a capsule collider. Now, and then we also have the spherical collider. All right, and they all do the same thing. So basically, they prevent the camera going into it. Now, in terms of level design, you want to be mindful of where you use each type. So I'll just back up. Oh god, I've got massively bright sunshine. I've got nowhere to hide it. Sorry. So on corners. So let me do that. So if you've got a corner like this where two walls meet, and like let's actually say a doorway, you want to, on where the corners are, you probably want to use a capsule collider, because the camera will then, the collider will actually allow the camera to glide around the corner. So if I run into this, we should see that it will either shove me left or right. So let's go and do that now. Yep. So it shoved me to the right there. Okay, and the same thing for the spherical one. Okay, but that won't necessarily happen with the cubic one. So I'll just hit that and I won't really go anywhere. So it's just something to bear in mind. Okay, so they're the camera colliders, and they're transparent and red. They won't show in the player. Okay, now the other thing that we've got is we've got what are called nav mesh cuts. We've only got 2 at the moment. What these will do, if you imagine the terrain, so all of this terrain is walkable on at the moment, apart from these little pools here. Okay, if I was designing something and I didn't want my characters to be able to walk on it, then I could actually block it out. And I don't think these are scalable non-uniformly at the moment, so I'd probably have to duplicate them up and sort of do a little row of them like that. Actually, Half Voxel, can you just clarify that? So at the moment I can't scale these. That light is, sorry, it's really doing my head in. I do apologise for that. It's only a small bit of the screen. I think for now we'll get rid of it. Okay. And what that will do is it will actually cut this, because the system constructs its nav mesh and updates it in real time when you construct buildings, for example. And it'll actually cut out that section of the nav mesh, so characters will have to go all the way around. So if I selected this guy and it was in the player and I wanted to move them there, they would have to go around this bit. They would no longer be able to walk on it. And the cylinder nav mesh cut, that gets simplified to I think it was a hexagon or pentagon or something like that. Hexagon, I think it was. So it's not like a perfect cylinder or anything. It does get simplified. Okay, so they're just some pieces that have been requested for a long time. So if you wanted to, what are these? These are camera colliders, aren't they? What we don't have at the moment is a nav mesh, an actual nav mesh piece. If I wanted to make something walkable, we'll discuss that, and maybe we'll be able to add that into this kit at a future time. Right, let's create a new level and go through some of the basics and address this at the moment, the learning curve. The first thing I want to do, let's create, well, let's use the swamp kit. All right, so I need to open a kit. So I've just opened the swamp kit, for example. Okay, there are icons up here for opening the different dialogues. One thing I can do is I can resize these using the drag bar at the, so that one I can resize vertically. I think this one I can actually resize width and height of as well. If I'm happy with the position of a dialogue, I can lock it. Now these are all dialogues that we're going to be migrating to a new system, which the inspector is using at the moment, but the inspector's not finished at the moment. But the same functionality will be available in terms of locking. So now it's locked, I can't actually move them. All right, which is quite useful if you want to fix your UI. There's also docking, but there's a bug with docking at the moment in that you can't undock it easily. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so once you've got your swamp kit open, or alternatively your grassland kit, and apology, while I'm doing this I won't be able to answer questions other than sort of taking direction on which pieces to cover. Now the first thing you want to really place down is a flat piece of terrain. Now in the kits that's going to be called GND base. Okay, now all of the kit pieces are alphabetically listed and they all have icons. Alright, so I'm looking for a flat piece of terrain, GND base 01. Now, there's been some feedback suggesting that we should support drag and drop. That's perhaps not quite as easy as it sounds, because if we did that, the piece would appear behind this UI, but we'll certainly consider it and discuss it. Daddy066, I'll answer that later, so I'll keep it to the basics for now. So to insert a kit piece, all I did was double click with the left mouse button on the kit piece in the kit contents window. Alright, so double click, and it will always appear where your camera's pointing. Alright, so if I move the camera up here and create a piece, alright, it creates it there and up in the air. Alright, so you can create it wherever you want. To delete a piece, so well, first to select a piece, left click with left click with the mouse button on the piece, and then hit backspace on your keyboard. Alternatively, you can use the icons up on the top bar, so I can hit that. If I want to undo, you can hit Control Z on the keyboard. That will undo it. Have we got undo up here? I can't remember. Perhaps not. No, I don't think it's up there. And as I say, you can hit the backspace shortcut key on your keyboard. Okay. Once we've got one piece of terrain down, rather than having to go, move the camera slightly, click again, we don't want to do that. We actually want to be able to just duplicate a piece. And you can duplicate a piece using the duplicate selection. And that will actually create a duplicate on top of the existing one. So if I click that once, you'll see a slight flicker in the gizmo. And now we've actually got two pieces on the top of each other. So we need to move one of them. So I can either use the arrow keys on the keyboard, which is what I'm doing now, or I can use the gizmo. Right, now, the gizmo is one of the fastest ways for manipulating a piece. So moving it, rotating it, or scaling it. And there are three modes, there are actually four modes, but the three transform modes are move, rotate, and scale. And you'll see for move, we've got filled circles, non-filled circles for scale, for rotation, and then a yellow cube for scale. So I'll go into move mode. Now these are also W-E-R on the keyboard, so you can hear me, I'm just cycling between them, pressing W-E-R. So you want W for move mode. It follows 3D editors fairly consistently. So if you've ever used, I don't know, something like Unity or 3D Studio Max, then it follows those conventions. Now, the gizmo is, you're probably used to a traditional axis-based one where you just move a piece along one axis. This actually allows you to move it along planes, which are two axes at a time. So the green one is like the horizontal. So if I hover the mouse pointer over that, you'll see that the green plane gets larger to show that it's active. I could hover over the red one and the blue one. Okay, so but we want the green one because that is moving in the XZ plane. And I'll just zoom out a little bit. So we're over the green one. I click and hold down the left mouse button, and then I'm free to move it around, and then when I'm happy with the position, I just let go of the mouse button. Okay? So that was moving in the horizontal plane. We have two vertical planes, which are the y-axis and the x-axis, which is, well, I'm not totally sure which way is which at the moment, but with one, I can move it up and down and left and right, and with the blue one, I can move it up and down and forward and backwards, but I can't move it side to side. All right, so it constrains movement to one plane. All right. All of this is documented on the website. If you want to go to the Countess has just posted the link there, so you can work your way through that slowly and become familiarized with that. I will record a full video at some point on how to do this. All right. So now we've moved that piece. Let's say I want to move this piece down. Now, I can either move it horizontally first and then down. So I could do that. Let's just undo that. Or I could just use this plane. So I can't move it forward and backwards, but I can move it up and down and left and right. All right. So as you become more experienced, you will be able to very quickly choose the right plane that you require for moving it. Okay. Now, moving on. Multiple selection. I want to create two more pieces just next to this so that I've got a 2x2 piece of terrain in front of me. What I can do is, just like selecting files in File Explorer or a Mac, actually it might be slightly different on Mac, but on Windows, if you hold down the Shift key and then you click on another piece, it supports multiple selection. I'm not going to go into all of the commands on that because there's control keys for deselecting individual pieces and things like that. But you can select multiple pieces. So holding down the shift key, I can click 1, 2, and you'll see that each one of them's got the bounding box around them. If I hold down Control D for duplicate, or I go to the icon up on the top menu, okay, you'll see it flickered, showing that there's now a duplicate here. So if I just move them around, you'll see that there are duplicates. Okay, so I just need to move them. I just want to move them horizontally, and there we've got 4 pieces now. Right. You'll notice that I didn't go back into the kit's content window and keep on inserting flat pieces of terrain, because once you've dropped one into your scene, the quickest way to get more of that is just to duplicate it up and move it. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, I don't really want my map looking all muddy, so I want to paint this terrain. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to lock movement of my tiles, and what it basically prevents mistakes. So now I can't select, I'm clicking with the left mouse button, I can't select any terrain pieces, and that's a very useful toggle to have, especially when it comes to placing down details, so trees and barrels and things like that. You don't want to be selecting pieces of the terrain by accident all the time. And it's also useful for the final gizmo mode, which is, well, not gizmo mode, final mode, which is the paint tool. Now what we've got multiple textures along here, and they do belong to different kits, which is slightly confusing and something that we'll have to clarify in future patches. But for now, we want, because this is the grass kit, I want to paint it with, sorry, no, this is the swamp kit. I want to paint it with the swamp grass, of which we've got 2, which are these last ones here. Okay, now to paint, now I've just got to remember, because the keys might have been remapped slightly, you have to hold down the U key. All right, very important that you hold down the U key, and then you can click on different parts of your terrain to paint it. Now you can also click and hold down the left button and just drag your mouse around for speed fill. All right, and then once again, I've changed the material. I'm holding down the U key, left click once, twice, 3 times, and you can paint your terrain like that. Let's just all go back to the same color. Smooth edges, if I turn it off, it gives you precise control. Most of the time you'll want it on, but if I actually want to paint, let's use that sand texture because it'll be really obvious then. If I've got smooth edges turned off, it will give me a very hard line. See, and most of the time you don't want that, but it does allow for precise painting. All right. So if I want to just paint back, if I turn back on smooth edges, if I now go back to the sand tile and click, you'll see it's basically, even though I clicked in a corner of the tile, and I'll just do that one more time. So if I click in this quadrant here, it will automatically create this one, and this one, so that we get a nice smooth edge. Okay, so and then you can get sort of nice randomized pieces. All right, and this is bugged at the moment, so just make sure it's on 1. It does have a tendency to creep up in value due to a bug. Make sure it stays on 1 for now until we've fixed it. I'm not going to go into what it does. It basically increases your brush size, but it's buggy at the moment, so stay away from that. Okay, so brilliant. We've got a flat piece of terrain, like God knows how many RPG games, RTS games. What we really want is some cliffs in there, don't we? Now, ideally in the future, you'll just be able to paint terrain height, but we haven't got that at the moment. Sorry, there's a question being asked. Why do you need to press an extra key before you paint? I think that's just to do with modes and stuff, so it may be something that we can optimize out in future. Rfoxel, perhaps you can answer Mr. Emger while I crack on with this tutorial. Okay, so cliffs. Because it's alphabetically ordered, we've actually, names for terrain follow a a convention. So CLF is short for cliff. And then we have things like STR, RMP. So STR is straight. RMP is a ramp. So if I just zoom up, there's a ramp up there. We have CCV for convex. Convex, and where's the other one? There's another one, which is the concave one. No, CCV is... Hang on, where are we? CCV is the concave, and CVX is convex. Right, anyway, that's the first point, is the naming convention. The final part is going to be either full, half, or and they're different heights of tiles. So I'll just drop down the convex piece. That's a full height one. Let's make it fun. Let's get that's a half height one, and the quarter height one. Okay, so if I just zoom down. To move, I'm holding down the right mouse button and then dragging the mouse. Okay, and that's to look. And then to move, it's W, A, S, and D on the keyboard. You can also use Z and X to change your altitude. All right. Now, all pieces follow this full, half, and quarter height implementation. And there are blends between the three of them so that you can move from one height to another. But for now, let's stick with the full height tiles. All right. Now that's the convex piece. We also want to go get the concave piece. Oh no, that's the half one. I need the concave full piece. So cliff, concave, full. All right, and let's just put that down. And the convex and concave pieces are designed to go to match together. So you'll see we've already got the start there. I'll just move them of sort of a curving cliff. If I just duplicate both of those pieces up using Control D and then move them, you'll see that we've started to get a curving cliff. The other piece that we want for this is the straight piece. So it's going to be CLF for cliff, STR for straight, and full for full height. Because it's alphabetically listed, so I'm looking for the STR bit really, so I'm just scrolling down. There we go. CLF, STR, full, 0, 1. Now there are two pieces that match this. There's 0, 1 and 0, 2. And they're slightly different just to add a little bit of variation. Okay, so you've got 0, 1, which has got a bit of a bulge, and 0, 2, which is very straight. Okay. And then before I go ahead and duplicate all of these, I just want to paint them. So I'm going to lock my tiles, go to the paint tool, select my grass. The brush tool is set to, sorry, the brush size is set to 1. I'm holding the U key down, and I'm just very quickly going to drag my mouse over and make sure all of that is painted. Because now they're painted, when I duplicate the object, it's also going to copy the paint as well. So if I copy that concave piece, Control D, W to go into move mode, and then drag it, and then you'll see now we need to rotate this piece, don't we? And there are a number of ways to do that. I can put the gizmo into rotate mode by pressing E or going up to the top bar and clicking the icon, and you'll see that our gizmo has changed to empty circles. Again, each axis relates to, each circle relates to, actually relates to an axis. So because it's on the horizontal plane, if you imagine a line going through the circle, then that's what it's going to rotate around. So if I just rotate around that, you'll see, if you imagine a line perpendicular to the plane, it will rotate around that. Tiles are locked so that you can't rotate in any other plane, around any other axis apart from the y-axis. Okay. Another quick way to do it is there's keyboard shortcuts, which are the square brackets. So I can press those on my keyboard, and that's often, if you struggle with this gizmo, that's often a faster way to do it. Okay. And then I'll just grab another piece, move it down. This time I'll use the keyboard. Oops. And there. And then I can actually rotate around multiple pieces. So I've selected multiple items. If I duplicate those, drag them down, and then use the keyboard, and I can rotate them into place. Alright, and then I'm just going to select all of this. I'm going to duplicate, hit the keyboard, rotate twice, and I can even use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move those into place. Okay, obviously this doesn't match up, so I'm going to delete that, either using the icon on the top bar or pressing the backspace key on the keyboard. And then I'll duplicate up a straight piece just to fill that gap. Okay, everything else looks okay, apart from here. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to leave a way out. So what I'm going to do, let's delete that piece as well. I'm going to duplicate this piece and spin it round. Now the last thing to do, what I will do is I'll just very quickly paint. Now you see there, the brush size has crept up to 9. Make sure you change it back to 0. I'm just going to paint those tiles all into grass. I tend to work entirely in one texture, and then once I've got an area designed, I will then go and paint it. So I just lock the tiles, so make sure you unlock. I've got now I can duplicate one at a time. Just do it that way, and then I can Control D and use the keyboard, and I'm pretty fast at doing it that way. Or what you can do is you can select, say, 3, duplicate and move, and that's it. We're filled there. Okay, and then one thing we want to do is I probably want to paint that, so don't forget to lock your tiles. I'll choose the grass texture. Brush size is set to 1. Hold down the U key, and I'm just randomly going to scatter and go up the cliffs. Alright. And that's the start of our terrain. Hi Pirate Pete, thanks for joining us. I'm just going through some of the basics of the editor at the moment. Now, one thing that you will notice that we don't have on here at the moment is the grass. Now, you can turn that on up on the top bar. You can toggle the grass on and it will automatically draw for you. We can also drop down into the terrain camera by pressing the T, so we can fully explore this as if we were using that camera. Again, this is using WASD on the keyboard, and it will take me up. Right, and then T to exit out, and the scroll wheel on the mouse. Just typically what I do, tilt the camera down towards the train, press the T key to move you out of terrain mode, to terrain hugging mode, and then use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom out. Okay, all of this stuff takes a little bit of practice. It doesn't come just like that, but it does come fairly quickly when I'm showing you that. Alright, so we've got a little bit of terrain. Looks great. I think what I want to do is I just want to duplicate a piece, move it up and over. I'm going to press the minus key on the keyboard just to drop it down 1. And I'm just going to lock and paint just to clean that up, because I'm going to duplicate it a couple of other times just to fill in the other corners. Okay, so that one there. Oops. Now I've made a mistake there. You see, it's gone way off. Control Z to undo. We'll bring it back. There's no redo. All right. Okay, the grass is gone slightly crazy there, so I'm going to turn grass off. Turn it back on again, it will recalculate. So if I've moved any pieces or anything. There isn't currently a way to delete the auto grass. And I'm not sure there's going to be, I don't think there's going to be a way to do it either. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, because we're talking about deleting it, for example, on mud, I'm going to draw a path. It's going to come in from where our entrance will be. Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll put a little river in. Now, one thing you will see, which a number of map designers did initially is, if I'm going to put a river in, let me go and get a river tile. So the water tiles are down at the bottom. They start with water. And what I want to do is I want to get a water straight. So it'll be a water bank. Sorry, straight. So it's that piece there that I want. Actually, I haven't. Have I built it too low or not? Let me see. Actually, no, I'm fine. But let's say I had built this too low, for example. What I can do is I can shift every object in the world up. So I can hold Control, Shift, and press the U key. Alright, so the grass needs updating. And that will shift everything up for me if I've made a mistake. I'm not quite actually sure what's going on. Why is that drawing that there? That's an interesting one. Oh, Foxel, you're noting that down. It's interesting. I suppose it's just an editor thing. Or, alternatively, I can hold Control, Shift, and D to move it down again. And the reason for that is because beaches, you want to generally leave a little bit of roll-off so that you can go down to under the sea, just to provide a bit of depth. Let's create the grass again. Alright, so I want to put in a little river in here. So I'm going to have to delete some tiles. So I'm going to put move that straight piece in there. Now, what I want to do is I want to curve this round a little bit. So let's delete this tile. So I select it and I can go up to delete on the top bar. You notice the grass doesn't update. So I'm just going to turn grass off for now. And there is a curving piece. There are lots of pieces actually. But this one's called straight by adjacent corner. It seems a long name, but the icons really help in this sense. And you'll see that we've got a corner. And I'm just going to use a rotate. I'll use the rotate gizmo. And the rotate gizmo rotates, when you're dragging the mouse, rotate it around the circle like that, rather than just left and right. Or did we change it to left and right? I think we might have changed it to left and right. I can't remember exactly. Anywho's. I'm going to delete this one as well, duplicate this one up, use the keys on the keyboard to rotate. I could put all sorts of T-junctions, and you know, we've got all sorts of pieces in here. We've got a four-way. Oops. So if I want to do quite complex, I don't know, water systems, I can do, but I'm not interested in that for now. Let's put another straight piece in there. I'm going to put two bends in there. And one in here. And then a straight piece in there. And then we've got cliffs, so obviously what we want to do is we want to be putting a waterfall in here. So we'll delete that cliff piece. And the waterfalls are a part of the cliff. Alright, so it'll be cliff, and in this case I'm just going to look for the icons. So we want a full height, so cliff, waterfall, full. Let's insert that. I need to adjust its height slightly and its rotation. And you see that's in there now. Alright, so the next thing we want to do, I'll just deselect that and lock the tiles. I want to just paint these up. So back to the paint tool, swap my brush size back down to 1, holding the U key. Let's paint over all of that mud. And one thing I do want to do, actually, I probably do I want it mud? I want the swamp mud. Make it look like I've got some muddy banks. Okay. And then I'll unlock that, and let's say in I'm going to delete these pieces, and I'm just going to move, duplicate, rotate, and then I want to I should have painted those really. Let's paint those. You don't have to lock it, it's just really useful to prevent mistakes if you do. Let's just paint those up. Now I want to put a path in here. Oh, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save. Alright, so let's map Hangout tutorial. Okay, and then hit save. That's our map saved. I want to draw a path, so I'm going to hold down the P key and we'll keep it straight for the start. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know what's going on there. And I want to bend it round. Some strange. Oh, okay. Undo that. Control Y. It was obviously adjusting for the height incorrectly. Okay, so let's draw. So I'm holding down the P key. Why is that doing that? Maybe we've got a bug tile or something. Alright, maybe. Sorry, holding down the P key. There we go. Whatever. We've got a path. And then we'll turn the grass back on. And grass doesn't grow on roads. So if I just drop down, press T to drop down to terrain cam, you'll see we've got grass either side, but not on the actual road itself. Just paint that up because it's hard to actually see against the mud. Okay. Looking better. Next thing I want to do is I want to put some trees down. So again, alphabetically sorted. So go to trees. And then, what with this being water, I think we'll start with a willow tree, which, where is it? That's interesting. Where's the willow tree gone? There it is. So I double click to insert it in front of my camera. It will, when it detects terrain, automatically put it onto the terrain. Trees, I can move up and down and left and right. And I can also rotate them in all sorts of directions. So if I want to give it slightly fallen over, okay, Half Voxel was just explaining why the grass was off sometimes. It's because the nav mesh doesn't always update in the editor, but it does in the player. Okay, so trees. We can also scale trees, so if I want a big tree or a small tree. Alright, so let's duplicate that, move it, hold down the square brackets to rotate it round. Oops. Maybe make this one slightly different, slightly larger, and we'll have a final one here. Again, we'll just rotate it around a little bit. Let's put some birch trees down. So birch trees are one of the trees that can currently be chopped down for wood by the woodcutter. Just have a quick check on the time. Not long left, 20 minutes. So I'll try and zoom up. Always try and rotate round. I'm duplicating again. Okay. And then let's put some larger sort of bushes maybe over here. Not bushes, trees, sorry. And maybe we'll put some of those with the dangling, I don't really know what it's called. The swampy looking ones anyway. Okay, let's just drop down. Starting to look good. I think we need a few more trees. I think we definitely need a branch in there. A tree log, sorry. I'm going to start speeding up now because I want to get it all covered where possible in the time that we have left. All right, so we'll drop some down there. Okay. Next thing I want is I probably want some rocks in there. So let's find, here we go. Here are all our rocks. So we've got like a really big rock, which, you know, I can rotate around. I can sink it into the ground a little bit if I just change the W mode. It's pretty big though, that. So I think I'll scale it down. In fact, I'll just get rid of that altogether because it's totally out of kilter. If I just zoom down, so we've got some rocks. I'll just place, like, these are really best when they combined together. Create like a little rock feature. So I've got some smaller rocks and then they start getting really small. So you can add quite a lot of fine detail and maybe put it spread out over this side of the road. Now grouping, what I can do Oh right, selection depth. Did you see there that it's selected my water tile because I didn't lock my terrain. If I want to select an item that's so if I do select by default it's going to select the one closest to the camera. But I actually want to select that rock, so all I need to do is it cycles through all of the objects under the mouse pointer based on depth. So if I click again, it then goes and selects the piece that's in there. So if there are like 3-4 objects, I can just keep on clicking that. So if I can line these up, it should switch between this foreground tree, that background tree, and the terrain tiles. All of the same. It's not particularly. You can't click on the gizmo, so you need to click off behind it. There you go. So it is selecting different things. If you play around with it, you'll discover that. But what I actually wanted to do is I actually wanted to group these things together. So the first thing we're going to do is lock the tiles because we don't want them. Oops. Why is it? I've got the shift key held down. No! Right, so I've got a number of things selected. What I can do is I can create a group, and then to make it, rather than selecting each individual piece like that, I can go up and I can create a group either by clicking this icon or pressing Control G on the keyboard, which I'll just do that now. And you'll see when it's grouped, we'll get a bounding box, a blue bounding box around it. So now if I duplicate it, that will actually move the entire group. And with groups, I can also rotate the entire group, and everything will retain its position. Okay, so let's have one more, maybe over there. Another useful feature is if I'm quite far away from a feature, if I press the F key, it will zoom the camera there. So if I'm all the way over, say here, press the F key, it will move the camera to quite close to what the currently selected object is. Alright, so let's duplicate that down again. Okay, and we're soon going to want to start testing with, there's mushrooms I could put down. Let's sort of drop a few of those down, duplicate them up. Now normally I'd rotate individual one, but for the sake of speed I'm just going to do that. We want some sort of an interesting little large mushroom grove. Let's put that over there. Lots and lots of pieces that you can put in place, alright, and experiment with. Bushes, again, they're really useful, so you go up to B for bushes. Let's drop some of those in because they're really great. So I'll just zoom in and show you what that is. Okay, so, and I tend to clump together detail. You know, so I maybe put a tree and some vegetation down there. Oops. Let's put, we've got some, what's it called? Cattails. Get some sort of swampy grass down. Put some nice bushes down. All of these I can scale as well, but you probably don't want to go too much bigger with them. Okay, and then finally, I'm just what I haven't done yet. We need to create a common lighting group for lights, but what at the moment I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop into the grasslands kit. I'm just going to go down to the torches. And what I want is I'm going to drop in some of the tall torches because it's going to give us some lighting. And I'm just going to pretend like there's a pathway that's been sort of... Oops, made a mistake on that. Just duplicating. I could... there's a signpost in here, so if I find S... Here we go, there's the signpost piece, and then I could also created, if we've got something leading in a direction, just get in nice and close for the alignment. I can put a piece there. I could maybe put a piece there. And some folks have actually used piping and stuff to write words on these things. And again, I can use the grouping, so I could just sort of select those parts and press Ctrl G, or go up to the grouping icon up here, and then I can just, when I deselect it, when I selected it again, all of the pieces in that group will be selected. Okay. Right, the final part is we want some humans and we want some monsters. So I've just opened the kit list dialog, and we want to go up to character human. And let's say we want them to appear at the start of the map, so I'm going to drop down a female and a male, and I can rotate them to set the starting position. And then one thing I probably need to do is I need to put a bridge in. So let's grab go back to the swamp kit. B for bridge. Oh, the bridges in this actually? No, they're not, are they? I don't think they are, so let's grab them from the grasslands kit. Let's just put one of those in. Oh, actually, no, I know what there are in the grasslands kit. Let's just, sorry, in the swamp kit. There are those water ones, aren't they? Where are they? Can't remember what they're called, so I'm just going to... There we go. Alright, and we want a straight walkway. Alright, so let's plonk that in there and pretend that our path was going across there. And then over here, a good way away, let's put some monsters. So, whoops. In this case, we will drop down a swamp beast. Now, he's just going to stand still. There are ways to make them move around, but for now, and I'll duplicate that up, and I'll put another one there. Alright, and then the final thing to do is I want to position the camera where in the direction that I want it to start. So I'm going to face my characters from about this sort of distance, and then I'm going to save my map. Just use the scroll pages, and then overwrite our map, save, and then I'm just going to exit out, and I'm going to fire up the sandbox player, which is this option here. Sorry for going really quick, I do want to try and fit it all in. Hopefully you guys are following me so far and aren't completely lost, and hopefully half Voxel is answering questions for you. Alright, so in sandbox player, choose my map file. Mr. MJ is asking, will there be an option for scaling along separate axes? Possibly. So you'll see that it's... I need to angle the camera down a little bit, but there are...
All right, my love.
My pleasure.
And they can totally run around.
On my way.
And they should go around
right
these
away.
Rocks. Yep.
Ta-ta.
Okay. I'm just going to pull up the console, give them one of everything. And let's give you... Oh, sorry, filter by armor type. And let's give them those of course. Tab to cycle through. We should also give them a weapon, so I don't know, let's filter by weapon type. Let's give you a halberd, and the other one, let's give you a crossbow and see whether that works or not. Crossbow. Alright.
Yup, really?
Yes, my dear. Okay.
So, T to drop down. I'll just press escape to hide the console. T to drop down into our terrain cam. We've got Fog of War over here, so let's go and try and take on our little beastman.
How can I help? Something to do?
Okay.
A woman's work is never
There's a little
done.
mushroom field
My
to put
pleasure.
down. And now I could have probably put some nav mesh cuts
On
in
my
here, 'cause I'm
way.
feeling-
Be right there, darling.
Yeah, at the moment,
Busy, busy,
characters-
busy.
Ta-ta.
Well, maybe they
Really?
don't walk through, actually.
Okay.
Maybe they've already got nav
All
mesh
right,
cuts on.
dear.
But
Right
if there was an
away.
object that I didn't want them to be able to walk through,
My
like, they
pleasure.
might be able to walk through the signpost.
Okay.
Yes, they
On
can.
my
A
way.
woman's
That-
work is never done.
Oh, sound. Just remembered. Sorry about that, guys. If
Ta-ta.
I don't
Be
want them
right
to
there,
walk through here, so this would be where you would use the colliders kit, and you would actually put one of those Probably a cylinder collider on it. Not a cylinder collider, sorry. A cylindrical nav mesh cut. And possibly a collider as well. Stacked on top of each other.
Busy, busy, busy.
Anyway, let's go and see if we can
Really?
see
All
our
right,
swamp
dear.
monsters. Alright, there they are. They've spawned now that
Right
I've
away.
revealed some of the fog of war.
Yes, Petal. Okay. A woman's work is never done.
What I'm
Okay.
going to do is send him here
All
and
right, my
send
love. Be
her
right
in.
there, darling.
See how they do. Oh, she's not set up. Ah, right, okay, that's a bug. Let's change her inventory item out quickly. Oh, no, not that one. Let's give her one of those. Drop down into T. We're going to speed up the combat, the rate of combat. See, because they've got plate mail on the attacking with the weapons. Oh no, they all died. Okay, never mind. We could have also done some construction. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to exit out of that and just fire it up again. How are we doing on time? Like less than 9 minutes left. Okay, sun's gone down now, so I haven't got that glare on my face anymore. The monster kit's added in the same way that... sorry, monsters are added in the same way that humans are added. Just go to like the Swamp Beast kit and then double left click in the kit and it will insert the spawn point into the world.
All right, dear.
I'll cover wave spawning in another
My
Hangout.
pleasure.
So
Right
what I
away.
wanted to do is actually show you that construction also works, so I could totally build, you know, build a cottage here. So it's very, very quick to get a nice looking workable map. I mean, look at that. Pretty, isn't it? Oh yes, and the giveaway. It's going to be time for the giveaway, so let me set that up now. Okay, this is a Steam key for Folktale. For a giveaway to enter, you need to press type exclamation mark and then the word enter in lowercase. You'll follow, if you just watch what other people are doing, then they'll enter, be entering as well. I will show on screen. It's totally random. If you've got a friend that wants the game, then enter the competition. You might be able to give it. It's transferable, so you can give it to one of your friends. What I want is I want to train. I don't think I've got room for a barracks actually, so let's keep it small. Build a church there, and yeah, it all totally works anyway. You just need to be mindful. So yeah, to enter the Steam key giveaway, it's exclamation mark enter. You can see everybody in chat doing it now. I will share the screen to show everybody that's entered and when the roll comes.
Building completed.
As I say, if you haven't got Folktale, it's an ideal opportunity to potentially win a copy. If you do own Folktale, and you know, feel free to give it away to a friend. It's totally random, so good luck to everybody.
Yep.
All right, so when did we start? We started maybe half an hour ago, something like that. And we've already got a nice looking, convincing sort of swampy looking cops. It all works.
On my way.
Yes, my dear. Okay.
Totally playable.
How can I help? A woman's work is never done.
All right, and that's how I suggest you work. Is work small, get it looking nice, and then scale out. All right, another minute. And then we'll do the roll. Can we fit anything else on? Let's see. Maybe we can fit a Hunter's Lodge. I don't know. I'm kind of strapped for space. Let's put a well down. Wells aren't fully implemented yet, but wells produce water. Oh dear, that's it. I'll let them come.
Building completed.
Let's see how they get on. Squash. Oh dear, glitching a bit. looks like we've got a little glitch in combat there that we'll iron out. Alright, so let's swap over and it's time for the...
New villagers have arrived.
Oops. Time for the roll. So just swap across. You'll see that everybody that's entered is here. Final call, exclamation mark, enter. There's about 15 seconds left, which is about when you hear this. You've got a good chance of winning. There are 30 people entered at the moment. So, okay, let's go. Let's roll. I'll just turn off Star for nose. And then today's lucky winner is Raystand. So Raystand, I will be well done. Congratulations. I will be sending you a Steam key to your Twitch account after the stream. So within the next half an hour, you'll be able to grab the game and play. And given that I am now closing down, going to wrap up the stream, just because of I think there's a limit in terms of highlighted videos on Twitch. So the streams tend to be about 2 hours long. So congrats to you, and I will be sending you a key shortly. Thanks to everybody else for joining us in the stream today. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learnt a few things. And you know, if you do make maps, feel free to share them in the forum and get some of the community playing the map. They'll be able to provide you feedback. They'll also be able to provide you useful hints and tips if you're struggling to achieve something in the editor. And of course, we're there all week checking the forums and providing support where we can. Guys, thanks very much for joining us. If you've got some of your weekend left, have a great weekend. And I will see you this time next week. All right, take care. Bye.